In this video, I will be reviewing Lilies Quintessence of the Nights on the criteria list based around Metroidvanias. But before getting into that, dear viewers, I'd like to enlighten you all on why Lilies Quintessence of the Nights is such a great game. No matter what others say, I think Lilies is liked by so many due to its atmospheric theme and every aspect of its mechanics, gameplay, art, and even soundtrack. The game has some flaws, but its theme encapsulates the game's core to the point that many have loved playing it, and even 100% of the game. I will show you why the game's atmospheric theme makes it go from a good game to a great one. But before I get into that, I need to talk about the criteria of how I'm judging Lilies. As I stated before, Lilies is a Metroidvania which is a subgenre of an action-adventure and platforming genres, but it focuses on guided non-linearity and utility-gated exploration and progression more than its genre's parents. Now that you know a little bit more about Metroidvanias, let me start talking about my criteria list. For judging the subgenre, I have figured out 10 different aspects that I consider extremely important of Metroidvanias. You will learn about them as I continue with the rating. I will start with what I consider the most important and end with the least important. Then finally, I'll give my overall rating of Lilies and how it stacks up to other giants in this genre. Number 1. Level design. Unfortunately, the level design of Lilies is quite lacking in a few areas. The layout of each section is either too simplistic or too complicated, especially when you're trying to get every secret. So if they added more design to the actual foreground and not just the background, I'd give it a higher score. But due to that, 3 out of 10. Number 2, abilities. I love the diversity of the abilities in the game. There are spirits, which are combat-oriented, relics, which are for buffs, actions, which are mostly for defeating after you defeated bosses and you get movement abilities, but they all inherently control with the theme matching all of it, which I love. 7 out of 10, because it's interesting, but it's a little basic. Number 3, atmosphere. The atmosphere is one of the strongest points of the game and encompasses all aspects of the story and even the mechanics. The atmosphere is one of mystery, regret, and death, with the main character being a little white hope left in the world. The mechanics all revolve around a little white hope trying to kill monsters, make them clean spirits, and then help her in her fight against despair. Wonderful atmosphere, perfect game, 10 out of 10. Number 4, traversal and exploration. This is another falling point for otherwise great game. Like David Silbert, founder of the Punished Backlog, says, unfortunately, I took less pleasure in the game's level design. While the world itself is beautifully crafted, Lilies refuses to provide objective markers, left me scratching my head one too many times when I had to backtrack. A cumbersome map didn't help matters. This leads to any backtracking, as he stated, becoming tedious and hard to follow, 4 out of 10. Number 5, combat mechanics. I really enjoyed the different types of combat that can be used in Lilies. Like David Silbert says, again, where Lilies breaks from Metroidvania mold is in its combat system. Unlike traversal, which follows a get power up, backtrack, and new area flow, combat takes inspiration from unlikely sources. And those sources are Monster Collection genre sources. It's like Pokemon. You beat a boss, you get its powers. 8 out of 10. Loved it. Number 6, sound. The sound effects can be repetitive at times, but it doesn't take much away from the game, while the music, on the other hand, is phenomenal. It's one of the best soundtracks in games I've played. I would say it's comparable to Hollow Knight's soundtrack, either being better or on par. 10 out of 10. No further deliberation needed. Thank you, Japanese group Millie. Number 7, plot. Now, since I played through the entire game and know every aspect of that plot, I love the little letters that you find the plot in. I love how it's delineated, not linearly. But I can understand it being hard for other players, but even the bosses and enemies, how they move, it has the plot as well. 10 out of 10. Number 8, art. The theme is shown in the art. Even if it's 2D design and simplistic nature, it looks good. I don't think the art's amazing because of its 2D nature, but it does good for its own title. So personally, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Number 9, boss fights. The boss fights are a mixed bag. Some are really good, some are not great. All of the Mad Knight, great boss fight, felt like Dark Souls. On the other hand, Horner, Keeper of the Abyss, not great. Spawns a lot of enemies, slows down combat, 6 out of 10. Number 10, immersion. The game has great immersion. When I came back to play it for this, I got stuck in it for like 12 minutes, and I didn't even notice. The immersion's so good. 10 out of 10. Love the immersion. Overall, compared to the giants of Metroidvanias like Metroid and Hollow Knight, this game can keep pace. It's not unique or a genre-defining as the other games, but it's a special place in the genre because it does what Metroidvania should do and it adds to it. It makes a game that has a real story and real mechanics that are enjoyable and not a copycat of something else. I give the game a 8.6 out of 10, even though Lilies Contestant of the Nights is considered a basic Metroidvania in almost every way and was overshadowed by bigger Metroidvanias. It made a mark on the Metroidvania genre. Not a large one, but a significant one. Due to the atmospheric theme that encapsulates every aspect of the game, it's a perfect standalone experience, which uses its strengths in almost every way, from the atmosphere to the music, to even the mechanics. It's not a huge game, but it's a very special game that manages to keep the Metroidvania genre, but also does something special to make it stand out and feel unique. Thank you for watching.